Hello, boys and girls. This is Mr. Harris. I'm back. Today, we'll be understanding fractions. Understanding fractions today is our topic today. So, let's get started. We have three types of fractions. Our first fraction we're going to talk about today is a proper fraction. What is a proper fraction? Now, one thing I want you to understand is that all fractions have what they call a numerator and a denominator. Okay, so now when we talk about a proper fraction, let's just take a look at this right here. We say 1/2. Now, a proper fraction tells us that our numerator is always smaller than our denominator. All right, so now in layman terms, sometimes I want to say the top number is always smaller than the bottom number. Okay, the second fraction we will have is what we call a improper fraction. Now, look at here, proper, improper, just the opposite. Well, the numerator is larger than the denominator. Okay, so now we have a proper fraction, a numerator smaller, denominator larger. Improper fraction, numerator larger, denominator smaller. And our third fraction is what we call a mixed number. Now, a mixed number is a little different. A mixed number, we're going to have a whole number along with a fraction. So we can say a whole number, which is 3, and a fraction, which is 1/2. Okay, so now we have a proper fraction, improper fraction, and a mixed number. Okay, now we're going to be changing. The last fraction we did was a mixed number. We're going to be changing a mixed number into an improper fraction. Now, understand when we have a mixed number, we're going to say, I'm going to take 3 and 1/2. 3 and 1/2. Now, in order to change this into a improper fraction, I do something with my kids. I tell them that we must take the denominator, multiply it times the whole number, and add the numerator. So now, let's place these values under each other. Okay, so in this problem, what is the denominator? 2. What's our whole number? 3, plus our numerator, which is what? 1. So now I know that 3 times 2 is what? 6, plus 1 will give us what? 7. So now our numerator will become 7. Now, in having a mixed number, our denominator never changes. So now I have changed my mixed number into an improper fraction. Now 3 and 1/2 is now 7/2 now. Okay, so now we're gonna do the same thing. With changing. Now we're gonna change improper fraction to a mixed number. So now we have 10 thirds. Okay, now notice that our numerator is larger than our denominator. So now, only thing we do now is divide. We take our denominator and we divide it by our numerator. How many 3's are in 10? I know there will be what? 3. Okay, and I know now that 3 times 3 is what? 9. I subtract and I get 1. Now, in order to change this, I always tell them that my quotient will always be my whole number. Okay, my quotient will always be my whole number. So now my whole number is what? 3. My numerator, my remainder is my numerator. So that will give me what? 1. And we said that our denominator never ever what? Changes. Very good. Our denominator never ever changes. So now, I'm going to put an example up here, and I want you to give me the answer to this mixed number. Let's go do a mixed number first. So I'm going to have 6 and 2/5. 6 and 2/5. Think about it. Think about it. Remember what we did. We multiplied what first? Good. We multiplied our denominator times our whole number, which is what? 5 times 6 is? Good. 30 plus how many? 2. Good. Is what? 32 over what? 5. Awesome. Awesome job. Okay, so now let's change a improper fraction to a mixed number now. Let's change the improper fraction to a mixed number. So our improper fraction is what? 27 over 4. It's not a big number. I know we didn't have a big number for the last one, but there's no difference. So now, what will we do? What will we do? Okay, you have to divide. Exactly. So we'll say what? 4 divided into 27. How many times? Good. 6. And I know 6 times 4 is? Good. 24. We subtract and we get what? 3. What's our whole number now? Our quotient, which is what? Good. 6. What stays the same? Nice. Our denominator stays the same. So now, watch this. I know that 4 times 6 is what? 24. How many more do I need to get to 27? Our remainder, which is 3. Very good. So now we know 27 over 4 now will equal what? 6 and 3/4. Will now equal 6 and 3/4. Okay. Now, we're going to go on a little further today. We're going to multiply, divide, and add some fractions. Okay? There are some things that I want to show you when we get to adding and subtracting fractions that I kind of learned that will kind of make it a little easier to add and subtract fraction. And we'll get into that, and I call that the butterfly or the bow tie effect. Okay? We're going to show it to you a little later. Okay, so let's take a look at how to multiply a fraction. Okay, so I have 2/5 that I want to multiply. By 3/4. Okay, now multiplying fractions is exactly doing what it say do. I will multiply my numerator with my numerator and my denominator with my denominator. So now, looking at this problem right here, I see that what? 2 times 3 will give me what? 6. Okay? 5 times 4 will give me what? 20. Now, we can leave this answer as it is, but looking at this answer right here, I always tell my kids, I see 2 even numbers, so I know I can simplify this fraction. Okay? So now, we have to find a number that can both go into 6 and 20 even number times. And what number would that be? That would be what? Very good. It will be 2. How many 2's in 6? Good. 3. How many 2's in 20? Good. 10. So now, only thing we did is just take our fraction, our answer, and we simplified it or reduced it. Okay? That's how we will multiply a fraction. Now, I'm going to give you one. I want you to do this one. I want you to do 3/8. I want you to do 3/8 times 2/4. Okay? 3/8 times 2/4. Okay? 3 times 2 is? Yes? Good. 8 times 4 is? Awesome. 32. Now, what about 6 over 32? Can we do something to 6 over 32? What can we do to it? Good. We can simplify. Okay. Let's simplify 6 over 32. Okay. What number that we know can go into 6 and 32 even number times? Good. We said what? I hear you. Good. 2. 2 will go into 6 how many times? 3 times. Good. How many times will 2 go into 32? Oh, a little different right here now, huh? Good. 16. So now, we have simplified this problem, okay? We have reduced 6 32s to what? 3/16. Now, I'm going to give you a chance to look at this, and I hope that you understand this right here, okay? Now, we're going to move on a little further. We're going to move on a little further right here to dividing. We're going to divide a fraction, okay? So now, in dividing fractions, you have to take the reciprocal. You have to take the reciprocal of the back fraction. Now, what is the reciprocal? The reciprocal is just taking the back fraction and flip it, okay? So now, I have 3/8 that we're gonna divide by 6/10. 3/8 that we're gonna divide by 6/10. So now, it's something I show my kids. Something I show my kids, I say keep, change, and flip. The reciprocal is just only flipping the back fraction, okay? So now, let's remember that KCF, not Kentucky Fried Chicken, not KFC, but KCF. So now, let's rewrite this, okay? So let's keep the first fraction, which is what? 3/8. All right, let's change our sign to multiplication. Let's flip. Let's flip this. Now, proper fraction, we're going to flip it. Now it's going to look like a improper fraction now. Now it's going to look like an improper fraction now. So now we go back to what we was doing in multiplication. We just multiply across. 3 times 10 is 30. 8 times 6 is 48. But let's look over here. Let's look over here. What can we do to this? Can we simplify this? Yes, we can simplify this. What number can go into 30 and 48 an even number of times? Think about it. What you get? I got 6. What you get? Okay. How many times will 6 go into 30? Good. 5 times. How many times will 6 go into 48? Good. 8 times. Now we have simplified our fraction. Okay. Now, I want to give you one. Okay. I want you to do, let's do a simple one. Let's do 2/3 divided by 1/2. Let's do 2/3 divided by 1/2. Okay? Hey, let's remember. Let's remember this information right here. We're going to keep, we're going to change, and we're going to flip. Okay? We're going to keep, we're going to change, we're going to flip. So, let's keep our what? Good. 2/3. Change our sign to multiplication. Flip. Flip. Okay? Now we do what? We simply what? Multiply. 2 times 2 is 4. 3 times 1 is 3. Look right here. Let's go back. In the previous lesson, we talked about this right here, which was a what? Improper fraction. We're going to take this improper fraction and turn it into a what? Good. A mixed number. So how do we do that? We just simply divide. We say 3 going to 4 how many times? How many times? Good. Going to 1. What's going to stay the same? Good. 3. What's our remainder? 1. So now, 1 1/3 will be our answer. Okay. Now we're going to talk about adding and subtracting fraction. Now, in adding and subtracting fraction is something I like to do called the bow tie. I call it the bow tie method. All right. Now, in doing the bow tie method, the only disadvantage sometimes you're gonna have is that it's not gonna always simplify it or reduce it to its lowest term. But you can always guarantee to get the answer doing it that way. Okay, so let's do addition first. Okay, so I'm gonna have 2/3 that I'm gonna add to 7/5. Okay, 2/3 that I'm gonna add to 7/5. Now, I will always start with this denominator down here. I will always start with this denominator down here. I will take this denominator and I will multiply it times this numerator. Okay? Take this denominator, multiply it times this numerator. So now, I know that 5 times 2 is what? 10. I will take this denominator and multiply it times this numerator. And I know that 3 times 7 is what? 21. Okay? Now, I'm adding, so I made my sign addition. Okay? Now, I'm going to multiply my denominators together, which is 3 times 5 will give me what? 15. 3 times 5 will give me 15. Now, the only thing I have to do here is add 10 plus 21 will give me what? 31. My denominator stays the same, which is 31/15. Now, we can change this improper fraction to a mixed number, but we're going to just stick with this for right now. And our answer will be what? 31/15. Okay? Now, I want you to do the same thing. All right? I'm going to give you a chance to do it. Okay? So now, we're going to take 3/5 that, and we're going to add it to 1/4. Now, let's do the bow tie method. Okay? And in the bow tie method, we're going to say what? 4 times 3. 4 times 3 is? Good. 12. Okay, what are we doing? We're adding, right? Yes. So now we're going to say what? 5 times 1 is 5. Yes. So now we'll take what? 5 times 4 is what? 20. 5 times 4 is 20. So now we just simply add. 12 plus 5 is what? 17/20. Very good. Very good. Now, the last thing we're going to do, we're going to subtract. And it's done the same way. It's done the same way. Okay? We're going to use the bow tie method. We're going to take 3/4 and subtract it by 1/8. 3/4, and we're going to subtract it by 1/8. Now, once again, bow tie method. I always want to start with this one. Now, we can start with this denominator, but I just like starting with this back fraction and this denominator. So I'm going to say 8 times 3. 8 times 3 is? Good. 24. 24. What are we doing? Subtracting. Good. 4 times 1 is? 4. Good. Now we multiply across right here. 4 times 8 is 32. Very good. All right. Now we just simply what? Subtract. 24 minus 4 is 20. And we have 32. Now, understand, we can simplify it. But we're not going to simplify it today. All right. We'll do it maybe on the next lesson. Okay. So now, I'm going to give you one. To do. All right. I want you to do 3/5 minus 1/3. 3/5 minus 1/3. Think about the butterfly method. The bow tie method. Think about the bow tie method. Okay? Now, in the bow tie method, what we're going to do, we're going to take this denominator, multiply it across. Okay? What do we get? Good. 9. All right? What are we doing? We're subtracting, right? Bow tie method, multiply it across. 5 times 1 is 5. Good. Multiply across right here. 5 times 3 is 15. Good. Now, we just do what? Subtract. Okay? What's 9 minus 5? Awesome job. 4. What do we do with the 15? Good. Bring it over. And that will be our answer for 15th. Thank you for joining in today. And see you next time. Bye-bye.